everyone. My name is Nikie. I am a certified Cicerone, and just so you know what that means is it's the same in the wine program as a sommelier. So I went through a lot of testing and I got a certificate and it says that I know a lot about beer. So I'm going to talk to you today about a couple of the beverage offerings that are brand new this year that everybody's really excited about. I'm highlighting beers from the Light Lab today. So a little bit about some of the process that goes into picking out the beers for the festival. So if you've been around or you look through your passport, you'll see there's a lot of different beverage offerings. A lot of these beers are made exclusively for the Epcot International Food Wine Festival. That means you'll only be able to get those here and on draft at the different locations throughout the park. The RGB Flight, which is the one that is being passed around right now, is all three of those beers are unique for the festival. So you won't be able to go anywhere else and get those ever again. So right now you may find some of them in the brewery tap rooms that made them just as they test them out. But other than that, you won't be able to go anywhere and find these beers. So I'm very excited that this year all of these beers are from 3 different breweries, and all those breweries are here in Florida. So one of the things that Disney does is they support local small businesses, and this is a big deal for those businesses. One of the breweries presented today, Grasslands, I was talking to them, and he said this is literally a dream come true for him. He was here at the festival 5 years ago with his wife before he started the brewery, and they had walked by one of the locations, and he said, could you imagine if we ever got to the point where we had beer here? And when we told him that he was going to have a beer here this year and asked for his participation and partnership, it was a very big moment for them. So it's one of the many ways that we partner with these breweries, and it's very exciting for them. All 3 of these beers are less than 5 years old. So the breweries are less than 5 years old. So the first beer that you're going to get to try is the red beer. That is going to be from Playa Linda, which is in Titusville, Florida. So if you're unfamiliar, that's on our Space Coast. From their brewery, you can actually see the launch pad for the rocket launches right now. So they're they take a lot of pride in their partnerships. They have a lot of NASA folks come in and have beers there after work. So they are very community involved. Playa Linda has a head brewer. His name is Ron Rake. He is kind of the godfather of craft beer in Florida. So he was with a couple of local breweries. If you were around when the airport had the Shipyard Brewery many years ago, he actually started brewing there. He went to a couple of local brew pubs, and then he was able to partner with some folks in Titusville, and they started a brewery out there. They have the Bricks Project and the Hardware Store, which are their 2 locations. They both serve food, lots of different beers. And when we went to him with our needs for a red beer, he sampled the team on something that was a little different. And we love different. So this beer is actually brewed with cherries, and it's brewed with sorghum. So there actually is no barley in this beer. If you didn't know, all beer is made with some type of a malt, a water, hops, and yeast. And then anything else is an adjunct that's added into the beer. So adjuncts aren't necessarily bad things, but here you have the cherry juice. Now, that makes this a gluten-friendly beer. So barley is where the gluten in beer comes from. This is brewed with the sorghum, and that is a gluten-free product. So this would be a gluten-friendly option. Now, it may taste a little bit different to you than what a traditional beer would taste like, but I compare that to if you use different ingredients in different products, you do get different tastes. So this is going to have, instead of that barley taste to it, you're going to get the blast of that sorghum and then the nice tart cherry. The second beer is the G in RGB, and that is a green kiwi beer from Grasslands Brewing. Grasslands is in Tallahassee. They're a few years old. They brewed this beer it was a surprise. I didn't know how they were going to get green beer without using food color. So this is brewed with kiwi puree. They used about 50 pounds of kiwi puree in just their first batch. So that's about 20-ish kegs or so. So there's a lot of kiwi. Now, you are not going to taste a ton of the kiwi. It gives it more of an essence because kiwi is actually a very light tasting fruit. So this has some American hops in it that kind of bite into that kiwi taste a little bit, so it's not overly sweet or sour. And the green color, kiwi actually doesn't put off a ton of green color when you mix it with the beer. The green color comes from spirulina, a type of seaweed dust. So that's how it's an all-natural ingredient and not using any food color. The last beer is your blue beer. Now, this is kind of a treat. We brew these beers, we have the breweries brew these beers, and beer is a living thing. It takes time to make it. This beer we pulled about a week and a half before it was finished. So the first beer that you have is a finished product. The second beer that you have is a finished product. But the MIA out of Miami is not a finished product. So this beer you can see is a little undercarbonated. You can see it doesn't have as much bubbles, and you can see that it's still a little hazy. This beer is brewed with blueberries, and that blueberry taste will start to increase as it continues to ferment, and it will start to have more bubbles and more carbonation, and it will clear up. Today in the brewery, that's actually what they're doing right now as we're having this chat. So they're still finishing up this beer. They'll keg it off and we'll go pick it up and bring it back here before the festival starts. But we wanted to show you what the flight looked like all together. So I said, listen, I think it would be cool to be able to see what happens before beer is beer. So before the bubbles are in the beer, this is what you have as a slightly hazier, less carbonated product. Those are the beers that are going to be in the Light Lab for RGB. I think that it's a very fun project. I was very excited to help work on this one with the festival team. And afterwards, if you guys have specific questions about the breweries, the brewing process, or the ingredients, I'll be available for questions.